casual stream today. Let me get rid of these tomatoes. Those are still on from the last one. So we'll be streaming here for probably, what do we got here? Actually, you know what? Let me put on our old friend here, Mr. Clock. Oh, come on. Don't be shy. Okay. Well, maybe he'll show up. I don't know. Either way, it's around like 7 p.m. right now. I'll be streaming for like 2 hours or so. I'll probably repeat it. I just clicked stream now. So if you're watching the recorded version of this, thank you so much. What we're going to work on today is pretty much the last half of the Ninja Turtle print, which is going to be fun. So let's go ahead and figure what we got here. It's been a little while. I've been jumping back and forth between different projects here, eh? And just finished up all the other inks for the other prints. This is just the last one that's left. So how did I do this? I had the good guy inks, good versus bad inks. I want to say we're doing that one. Let me just open this up. Like I say, I apologize for being so over the top. I think that this is starting to look good. Looking right. So you can see we got the good guys on the left there. Everything's fine. Let me just check the size of this. This is a pretty big file. I just want to make sure. 32 meg. Okay, that's workable. If you guys remember in the previous videos, I had to cut these up, like the actual inking sides up, because they're just too heavy. But now that we're just into the simple, and I'm saying simple here, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but we're just into the simple act of inking. What does that sound? Oh, I'm hitting my garbage can. But yeah, so we're just doing inking right now, so it's not even really that big of a deal for file size anyway. Hey, Hobby, you could sense a stream. That's funny. So, like I say, this one's going to be super quick here, today's stream. So again, I'll be repeating a whole bunch. Just like what I'm doing right now, I'm repeating a whole bunch. But little updates, I guess. Over on, just make sure I got the right size brush here. Are we using a different one? Over on Patreon, I'm going to be releasing. You can see I got like all these big brushes here, or whatever. That's what we want. I'm going to be organizing them all in like a nice, prettier package than this, so that they're like written correctly, and I'll be releasing those to patrons this week. I think I have it planned for Thursday or Friday. If you're a Patreon member right now, you'll get it. I'm still not sure what the pledge amount is to be able to get them. It's most likely just going to be $1. It might be the $3. I'm not sure. I don't know yet. I'm not trying to turn it into a whole big marketing thing or anything like that. Just patrons first. So if you want to jump into that, and you're watching this video before they went up, or I made another announcement video, or I plan on also making another video showing how to install it, and just kind of going through the brushes too. Because it's been a long time coming. A lot of people have been asking for them and stuff, and I hear you. Trust me, I hear you. I want to get to the good stuff too. Like the brushes, honestly, and this is gonna be me just like stabbing myself in the back a little bit, I guess. But they don't really like make or break your drawing at all, right? But sometimes brushes just click. And if you're a digital artist at all, I would have to believe you're a little bit like me. And that's almost one of the first things I always look for when I see like a new artist that I like. I'm just like, ooh, what brush is that? So I get it. I totally get it. So like I say, they'll be for patrons first, and then probably a week later, I'll be posting around online that I can just start opening them up for everybody that becomes a patron. So you guys look forward to that. So tonight we got to wrap this up, and like I said, this is the last piece of ink that we need for all these prints, and then they're all inked up, and then the next is going to be flats and colors. So that'll be exciting. Still haven't made the decision, and I really have to do that over the next day or two, really, of if I'm going to color some of these or just hire somebody to color them. Like this one, the Mega Man one, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman one. I'm thinking I might do it. What the hell? Why not? But it's sort of like it's a print, right? So I'm not 100% confident, to be honest. Like I think if I absolutely had to, I could do it. I just don't want to pressure myself into like the deadline's what's most important here. I don't want to be rushing this stuff when it comes time to getting it ready for a convention, right? That's I've done that one too many times with other people going to shows, and once when I started going to my first one, it was just like the last week was when I started worrying about getting prints, and it's not fun. Sometimes it can be super smooth. It can just everything works, and it's like great, cool. And then a lot of other times it's not that at all. It's it really is a lot of like, okay, well that looks like nothing, like the file I gave you. We don't want that. Hey, Keeman, how's it going, buddy? Hobby saying I tried to go digital. The brushes I tried to ink with made me want to break down and cry. Oh, Jesus. That was a year ago. I should probably try again. Dang. So what? Let's elaborate a little bit on that, if you don't mind. What we're using? MangaStudio? We're using Photoshop? Were they just the default brushes? Was it? Are you comfortable working digital? So on the turtle side, there's actually quite a bit of shadow. Not as much as I would normally do. I think for the bad guys, I might end up adding more, just because they're the bad guys, right? Probably a little more appropriate if they get the treatment on them there. Like more of this action here, these like cast shadowy kind of things. It was basic Photoshop brushes, not good at all, so not comfortable at all. Okay, so it's a bunch of things. Okay, well, if I can help you out at all, I will say Photoshop. If you're familiar with Photoshop, you can totally ink in Photoshop. You can do anything you're doing in MangaStudio for the most part in Photoshop. But I hear you. There's one of the big things that MangaStudio or ClipStudio, whatever, likes to tout, and a lot of people continually say this, and I say it as well, is that the line quality tends to be better in MangaStudio because of just, if it's just one thing, it's that you can add a correction to your line through the software, meaning if you've got jittery hands, there's like a slider you have access to that you can play around with the settings to get it to sort of like redraw your line in a way, depending on how shaky your hands are, and it lets you make smoother lines. So sometimes a lot of people they get a lot out of that, but nothing like just more practice will get you where you need to go for sure. Unfortunately, I mean, I wish it was a little easier than that. Now, in saying all that, you obviously know, if you've been following me at all for any period of time, is that the workflow I use is talked about in that DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics, and in there, Freddie Williams, he uses Photoshop with just the basic brushes. Now, I believe since making that book, he has, I don't know if they're Friendin, if you ever heard of Friendin, if they're his brushes or not, but a lot of people have been talking about his for Photoshop too. So if you don't have MangaStudio, like the software, it's all good. You can look for those brushes, and it's much cheaper than buying the software. I believe I actually have some of them, and they're actually quite good. And I actually made a tweet today earlier, just talking about how I've noticed. I was just going back on my channel and looking through some of my artwork and stuff, and I don't know if you guys do this that often, or I hope I don't. I'm not just being conceited, but like I'll look through my stuff, and I like to do this like at least monthly, maybe every other month or something, and just sort of like take a legit look at it and see if I'm making any gains. Like if I'm stuck, if my art, if I feel like it's getting stale or anything like that. And there's certain things that like people can tell you, like you can ask your art buddies and stuff, like what they think. And if you're lucky, they'll give you an honest answer. But I do believe that you got to have the ability to do that yourself. So anyway, I was looking at my stuff, and one thing I noticed is ever since I've just decided to stick with the tools that I'm comfortable with now, meaning like this simple line art style and then the inking over top. Uh, I've fought that for so long, just because it's nice to go in there and just ink something like what I'm doing right now, inking like pencils or something and finding the lines that you want. And for a lot of people, I actually think more people than the other way actually work better that way, which is like your pencils, whatever kind of stage of line art that is, and then just inking like this over top. But I found that if I just stay vigilant and go just believe in the process and the tools, which are just literally like 2 or 3 brushes max. Mostly it's just 2 brushes, and yeah, I was just going through and I'm like, you know what? Like I'm digging it. I'm digging where it's going. I'm knocking more art quicker. I'm staying on top of my scheduling and stuff like that. Like it's good. Yeah, I'm in a good spot right now, and it felt good. So I'm not trying to gloat at all. I'm just bringing that up for, all my art brothers and sisters out there. Like check your stuff out, see what it is, and be very critical from time to time. Almost like auditing your own abilities, and just be real and just check it out. Just ask yourself those questions and see like, no, I like the way I used to draw. That's a real thing. And then start trying to figure out why. What is it? What was it about like what you were doing that you liked? Or maybe you don't like where you're going, or you feel like you need to get back into doing like more expression or learning anatomy and stuff like that, right? Like legit things. So yeah, big tangent there, but yeah. Hi everybody. Let me just scroll up here. Hobby, you're saying you do have MangaStudio, but it has dodgy code, so it won't let me keep it. Oh, I'm not sure what that means there. At the moment, I think my issue is I am so comfortable with traditional, and with deadlines, I have to push myself out of it. Okay, yeah, that's funny. No, I'm with you, and that's sort of mirroring what I was saying and I've actually had a few Patreon hangouts with people, and this is actually one of the things of advice that I'm trying to be more vigilant about, and it's hard to hear because I always say, always be a student, always try to learn and find new things. But at the same time, I'll also say that you have to be careful with like always spending, or not always, but spending a majority of your time trying new tools and experimenting, because then nothing's really getting done. And then you can kind of get yourself into like a paralysis, like you're always worrying about, or it's not that you're worrying, it's that you're not actually making anything. You're just continually trying new things, trying to find whatever it is that's going to make you stick there and do new things. So in your case, anyway, if traditional is what you feel comfortable with, then yeah, keep doing it. There's no reason to go digital. Like it doesn't, like it offers stuff for sure, but if you can draw really kick-ass traditionally, don't worry about it. Just do that, man. But if you want to, if you have the actual legit want, not because you feel like that's the way of the future or some crap, but if you legitly want to do some digital stuff, then perhaps just do like a little side project, and just post it. You'd be surprised how many people are interested in like the journey of an artist, not necessarily the quality. Like for sure, like if your art looks really nice, people are just going to check it out without knowing you, just based off of like what it looks like, right? Face value. But the people that stick around, in my experience anyway, they've been the people that are like interested in you and sort of like what you're doing right now and what you're learning. Like digital's super hard, man. So many people struggle with it. For every person or every group of people that are out there that are like, "Ah, digital's legit. I can find like it's no problem for me." There is a lot of cats out there that struggle big time with it. So you're not alone. Just know why you're doing it, I suppose. That's probably the better question. Or the better, maybe something else to think about. Maybe not, it's not better. Okay, I gotta fix this claw. It's bugging me here. Your little like dagger claws on there. Hey James. Hey V. Hey Devin. Hey Jefferson. Just to make sure I'm getting everybody here. I don't want to miss anybody. Evening, everybody. Can't wait for these prints. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you guys are excited for them. I'm really hoping to get them. Like, I'm going to do my best to have like an online store for you guys because, like I say, these are for local shows, and I think I've met like one or two people that actually know me online here. Most everybody else is everywhere else in the world, right? So, um, I would like to get onto a regular schedule of like doing like a print a month or a print every few months or something for those of you that are interested in it. If anything, I mean it's more art that I get to share with you guys, so right away it's not a bad thing at all. But yes, I'm very very grateful that there's a handful of you out there that are excited to get these prints, even though we know they're not even done yet. It's still it's getting there. It's super close. But thank you so much for that, guys. James, I actually saw you today. I wasn't active in the chat, but I think you were in Jason's chat today too for his comic stuff. I just decided to make a very serious effort into my book. I've gotten a lot done. Oh, congratulations, man! What made you? What made you change? I don't want to say change gears, but make you refocus or start putting more time into it. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, these streams are just sort of like click it and go. If I've got it. Oh, here we go. Remember I told you you guys weren't here. Look who showed up. Mr. Clock. He was hiding on us. Hobby. Not necessarily the quality, how rude. Made me sad, now calling me bad. Like I honestly don't remember too much. A lot of what I talk about is just stream of conscious stuff here. So I haven't seen, at least that I remember, I'm not sure what your digital art looks like. So I'm not going to call anybody bad. Let's put it this way: if you can yourself, just to be critical, I know you're probably just joking around, but this is actually a good little test too for people to do. Is it's more of like an ego check, really. Is if you think you're good, if you think you know, you're good at drawing, that's great. But be real with yourself. If you're trying to, I don't want to get into. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop here because I know where I'm gonna end up going with this one. And never mind. Never mind. Just keep doing you. Just keep doing you, man. And like I said, if you're going to do digital, just be aware of why you're doing it. That's all. That's all. That's all I meant to say with that. Everybody's bad to somebody, and thank F that people find what a lot of people consider good that they don't like their stuff because that leaves so much extra room for everybody else to get a little slice of that pie, what do we got here? Jason actually kicked me out. Kicked me with one of his vids. Oh, why would he kick you? What? Oh, there's we have a sure. Yeah, there's no Pomodoros tonight, guys, because I'm only gonna be streaming. No, that's in the way. Let's go. Let's go with one nice and cute. There we go. There you go. I'm gonna be streaming for about like 2 hours. Or actually, what do we got now? About an hour and a half, hour 25 around there. I have to finish this tonight, so a lot of it's probably gonna be finished off stream, but that's okay. You guys will see it. If you're following me, there's a whole bunch of, like, you guys can see all the links at the bottom of the stream here, so providing you're on social media somewhere, which I'm sure most of you are, just follow me on something there and you guys will see it. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about Christmas now, really? Guys, we still get fall. It's like the favoritist of seasons. Alright, let's add some more shadow here to Shredder's pectoral majors. Just to make him feel more ripped. So there's a lot of work in here we gotta be careful with. These line weights. Stuff can start to get out of hand pretty quick. So what are you guys working on tonight? V's got an important question. Why can my neighbors put up 20 life-size clown skeletons in their front yard 50 days for Halloween, but I can't have long grass? You know what? Now you're speaking my language. My grass in my yard gets so... It's like elephant grass. And it's a mix of being busy, for sure. Uh, drawing, client work, your own stuff, come home from your day jobs. I need to sneak in as much time as humanly possible to draw, right? You guys, any artist is going to follow me on this. Now, the problem comes in when everybody else that they have a nice job that they work at, or their hobby is, or their what they enjoy to do work wise, for whatever reason, is where they go to work, right? Maybe they're one of the fortunate people that work exactly what they wanted to do. Cool. Those people never understand why artists, and not all, but some, I'm just basically talking about myself, why we have elephant grass outside. And what you're talking about right there, I got your back. I got your back. People are putting decorations out, you're getting them, and they're getting upset, or people don't understand why you got long grass. That's so good. James is saying digital is harder, but much more of a time saver when you get used to it. Yeah, yep. just to put in perspective, I mean, just to be open with you guys. Again, yeah, please ask any kind of question you guys want if I can help. That's what I'm here for. It took me to get like 100% comfortable with digital. I'd say a good 3 years probably. Like I could get around, I could do my thing and stuff, but I should say with MangaStudio 4 when I first started that. I've used Photoshop since high school, but never any kind of like line art. That was always done with traditional tools. But it took a very long time. It took commitment, really. So I feel you guys' pain that are coming from like traditional backgrounds. Like I used to draw everything with like what is it, a 4H lead, to do my penciling. And the only reason I picked up Manga Studio at all, like I mean now it's different because I'm doing this stuff a little bit, but back then I have no interest in inking. I don't want to ink. I want to draw. Inking didn't feel like drawing. I have a much different opinion now that I actually, you know, do it. But the only reason I even made the switch was because I was having a lot of trouble finding work. Because all these writers, and rightfully so, a lot of writers, they're the ones putting up the bill for a lot of this stuff, right? So they want to maximize the money they're spending. So it's sort of like, okay, well, they don't have a lot of money, mostly. More often than not, they don't have a lot of money. And it's hard to afford an inker and a penciler. So they'll kind of like put a page rate around $40 to $80, somewhere around there. I've noticed for somebody that does it all. So I kept seeing all these ads pop up, and it was like, well, if I want a chance to get more work anyway, I've got to find some way of faking inking. So I started looking into darkening your pencils in Photoshop. I've even got a video, like one of my earliest videos I post on there to show people because it was the same thing. Like there was other artists I was talking to, like buddies of mine, and everybody was kind of having like a little dry spell. Like it was like all of a sudden the writers all formed together, and they were like, "All right, screw this. We're not Marvel DC. We don't have the money here, right? So we realize that we're not going to get like the what we think are the best pencilers and the best inkers that are in the indie scene that are willing to work for a little bit less money and stuff, and like it's not going to happen. So let's just find somebody that can ink and pencil well and hope for the best, right? Use our indie projects as like launching points for whatever else they're trying to do. So yeah, so I started doing that, and I mean it was working, but the cleanup was a bitch. Going into Photoshop to clean up pencils when you're going into inks, it's no fun. No fun at all. So I just kept looking around, and then I found our favorite book, DC Comics Guide, and started reading that, and I was like, wow, it's possible. This is cool. But for me, the hardest part to wrap my mind around was like the workflow I'm doing right now. I was like, but this isn't how I naturally work. Like a pencil, I can build up values, and I've learned the control of using a pencil and all this stuff, right? I can't ink this way over pencils, at least not the way that I was doing pencils. Like I've showed this before, I'll just quickly show it again. Now that I this is the workflow I prefer to work in because now I understand it. It's clicked with me. I feel confident. I feel good in it, just like I did when I was working with pencil. I want to get better, obviously as a penciler, but there's certain techniques like rendering or something, or when you start adding shadows to your artwork, right? That things just click and your confidence grows with the more experience you get with it, right? So uh, basically, where was it? I showed you guys this, so it's don't get too crazy here. So this is pretty much what my rough lines would look like now. Actually, let me just put this on top. Everything is probably easier. Right, so this is just a scanned thing from a notebook, right? I've shown this, so you guys don't worry about it. And then I just like lower the opacity and then just put the deadline over top. And it's a different drawing. Like if you look in here, let's look at his face, right? Like it's the same, but it's different. Like all this built up stuff that feels good that like I would do as a pencil. With a pencil, I could come in and quickly shade all this stuff, great. And I know when the inker gets to it that they're gonna just render over top of it. But when I would work like this, it's like God, like I feel like I'm missing steps and the struggle, right? The struggle with all that garbage. But like I was just saying there, I was just bringing this up because you guys are talking about how long it takes and all that stuff like that. Yeah, it took a long time, and if you're willing to, it's just like pencil. You'll get there. You guys will get there. It's no problem. And now I just feel, much more confident in the way things are going with that stuff. So the reason I'm saying that is I hope that happens to you. If you guys are trying to maybe not work in this style, but just digital in general, it's not easy at all. Learning pencil was hard too at some point in your life, right? I think it's just we've been drawing with pencils and pens, crayons, pencil crayons since we were kids, right? So that's a lot of years and mileage. The benefit now is you've got all that experience using a tool in your hand to draw with that you'll learn digital faster. Besides learning the software, I understand that that might be harder than actually learning how to get the pressure sensitivity to go right with stuff. Let me just. James saying it took him 2 years to be happy with digital. Yeah. Devin, I like how quick it is. I'm referring to digital. I like how quick it is, but I dislike that I don't get the same feeling of traditional. But I have to sit back and remind myself that digital is digital and it's not supposed to feel. Yeah, okay, that's actually a really, really good point. Actually, I actually like that. That's good. Digital isn't the same. But the other thing too that might help you guys out, and I'll continue to plug the DC Comics Guide to digitally drawing comics until I'm done drawing, because of how much for me it's been a wonderful tool in learning things and stuff. But there is a workflow in there that Freddie talks about for you guys that might want the best of both worlds, right? The difference is it just requires a little investment on your part, ish. Essentially, you're just doing like this line art here, this tight line art, and you just print this out on Bristol, and then use your legit inking over top of it. Or you can do like your roughs, and this is actually something I think more artists do that work in the big companies as opposed to just ink their stuff. And this is an assumption. I know of a few like Ryan Otley from Invincible. I've seen him do it. A lot of people do this, and it makes a lot of sense. Is you can just have like Photoshop or this open or whatever, right, and do your layout, your rough layout, and print that out very low opacity, and then just pencil over top of that. That'll actually, maybe it might not seem like it'll save you a bunch of time, but if anybody that's worked in comics or illustration, you'll know how much of a pain it is to be trying to draw like a figure or something, and the composition's off, so you start erasing. So it saves you time with the racing because it's digital, right? You can resize things, and that's not even a problem. So that might be something you might be interested in. If actually doing full production work, digital production work is something that you're struggling with. That way you can still get the speed benefit from digital there. Let me just see here. I don't know if on the turtle side, Shredder's coming along really well. I dig it. I was kind of scared. I'm like, is he gonna? This is sort of the confidence I was just briefly talking about. Not to gloat, but where I was saying like, we worked on this like last week, and it's like, is the inking style gonna match and stuff? And I'm glad it is. I'm getting in the habit of what the inking's looking like, right? So it's good. It's good. I just want to. What I was checking was, I remember we were talking about cast shadows, and I'm not sure if we put it on here. So okay, so we do have a cast shadow here for Donatello. I think he's the only one besides the cast shadows in the background. Okay. Now the reason I was asking is because like there should or could be like a big arm right across here that would look pretty nice, but I want to leave it a little open for some color. If you must blink to it now, Kubo. Oh my God, did you like that movie? That was an amazing movie. Okay, maybe not amazing, but it was a really really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Kubo was actually really good. All right, so this one. Just trying to think of the. We're gonna shade it like traditional here. We'll try it. We'll see how this looks. The water wasn't CGI? Dang. Because if I could be wrong, I know everything was stop animation, but some of it was CGI. Is that right? Like there were CGI elements in there, but for the most part, it's all like stop animation. It was really good, regardless. I don't like. I'm not saying it's an amazing movie because they're doing like an old art style or like something that's not really done as much anymore, which is that Nightmare Before Christmas stop animation stuff. But like story wise and stuff, it felt like a video game. It felt like Legend of Zelda in a lot of ways. Main hero, he's got to go and find like pieces of a legendary armor set, a helmet, body armor, and a sword. Like that's video game stuff, I dug that stuff. It's a hero's journey for sure. That's not even like a it's not rewriting anything like that, but it was very creative for sure. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. Pete's Dragon. I have not. Looks nice. That's is that the one with the dragon that's like looks like he's all full of moss and trees and stuff? I want to see if I can make a better effort. I don't get to see movies too often. I try to save money where I can, right? Um, but when I do go see them, like I enjoy obviously like drama and fantasy and all that stuff, but or sci-fi, like movies. I think most of us would probably dig. Not really too much of a fan of like comedies, but we're not on a date here. I'm not telling you what I like and I dislike. What I wanted to say was I want to try and get more into not I guess they're considered kids movies, but like movies that are just like more adventure style stuff, like Kubo and maybe even this dragon movie we're talking about. Sword Unbreakable, the helm indestructible, the chest plate impenetrable. Okay, so you're really into it, man. I like that. No, I'm glad you love that movie. More people need to be talking about it for sure. I don't like I I brought it up and it was like, what the hell movie is that? And I'm like, we watched the trailer. I forget what movie it was in front of, but I when I saw the trailer for that movie, I was like, I need to see that. Like, there's something really cool about it, and I'm just glad it ended up being a good movie. You're a bad movie goer. I just saw Lethal Weapon 1 to 3 this week, only a few decades. That's good. Those are good movies. Not wrong with those. I think I've seen Lethal Weapon 1. I haven't seen the other ones either. So Interstellar, I really like that. Blade Runner was good. I haven't seen The Martian. I'm like probably the worst person to go like movies with. It's like they're so expensive. And what I get a kick out of like okay, so actually like the last movie that I saw that I was like I couldn't wait. Like I was actually giddy for, was Star Wars, which I think a lot of people probably were. And I loved it. Whether or not you did, I won't get into any of that stuff. That doesn't really matter. I enjoyed it. Um, But when I was watching that, I was just there. Same with Kubo as well. I was just there. I was just you tell me what this movie is gonna be. I'm here to watch. I'm in. I'm not even. I'm turning my brain off. I just want to be told a nice story, right? But a lot of times, like my girlfriend, she likes like the campy comedy movies and stuff. Like I can't stand them myself. And there's a lot of movies like I think a lot of people like to go see. Not just her, but like just movies that people like enjoy, right? And it's just they don't click with me, which is that's fine. So what I've tried to do in order to like still be social when I can go to these things is I try to like put on the storyteller cap for a second and see if I can start to figure out the plot as it's going. And I get a real kick out of that. Anybody else do that? Anybody else try to see if you can figure it out as the movie's going? Rocky's I've watched the entire Rocky series. I absolutely love it. I actually watched Rocky I think for the first time last year, Rocky 1, and I loved it so much that I think over a week I watched all of them. I haven't seen what's the newest one? Creed? I haven't seen that one. But all the other ones, I think they're all actually amazing movies. Total Recall, anything with Arnold Schwarzenegger's way up there for me. Hey, Chaz, I gotta get a little better at working on this metal too. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't mind it, but if somebody were to ask me to draw like Silver Surfer, jeez, I have to figure out this stuff a little bit better. Look at a picture of the Moon King at his chest plate. What does that look like? Okay, let's go do it right now. Moon King chest plate, Kubo. That's interesting. Looks like the Death Star. Two favorite movies last year. Oh, that you've seen: The Departed and Mad Max. Yeah, Mad Max. I don't understand why it got all the like people went insane for it. I don't understand what that was about. But I thought it was a fun movie to watch. It was interesting. There wasn't really much to it. I didn't see it on like the storyteller part of it. Like what are you trying to say with this movie on the deep side? But it was fun. It was definitely fun. The Departed. I love anything mob movie, anything like that stuff. I'm a big fan of. Actually, yeah, you're right, man. So it looks like Ma Tarkin. It's a Grand Moff Tarkin. I'm gonna say it kind of looks like. So why does he? Are you just digging deep, or is this sort of like a little homage that they put in the movie for that stuff? Peter Cushing. Who's Peter Cushing? It's an actor, I'm sure. Yeah, Star Wars is good. I enjoyed it, man. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt about Mad Max. Yeah, but I absolutely understand why people were like, this movie isn't anything special. I get that too. But let's be honest, like, so my favorite comedy of all time is Tommy Boy, and people, or maybe not of all time. It's definitely up there. And then with Chris Farley, I'm a big fan of. Like Airplane was actually really good. That's just a funny movie. But like, and there's tons of people that watch that stuff and like it's not funny. And then now anything with Kevin Hart in it, it's like it's funny, but I don't like lose my mind over it. But it's the same sort of thing, right? Like everybody's not gonna enjoy the same stuff. It's just impossible. I asked him how we look at him and the whole "I am your grandfather" thing. Yeah, no, yeah, you're true. Could be. But yeah, that's really cool about Star Wars. I'm glad there's gonna be. Anyway, who else? Who's excited for Rogue One? I'm super pumped that there's like a Star Wars movie every year. The Han Solo stuff, I don't really care about that, but I'll have to wait to see the trailer. Like Han Solo, I'm not. I guess here we go back to the other stuff. Like Han Solo is an okay character to me, but there's some people that like absolutely love Han Solo, right? Which is good because then they get that movie. That way, it's sort of like everybody's getting their own kind of thing out of the Star Wars stuff. But yeah, I want to save my judgment for the trailer for sure. But Rogue One, that wasn't something that I'm like, nah, I don't care. Just give me the Star Wars movies. But then the more I just keep hearing about it, and it looks gonna be awesome. With Vader being in there too, like I wonder if Vader, like, he makes sense obviously for the story, but I wonder if it's sort of like, okay, we got to put him in here just so we can get the extra tickets. It's a character, that like everybody knows, so let's toss him in. All right, so Shredder is pretty much done for now. In case we come back to add more stuff, I just want to add a little bit more texture to his cape here. I don't want to go over the board because nobody else is really rendered, so I don't want to make him pop out too much. But let me just zoom out so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So there he is. Uh, yeah, he looks good to me. I mean, he's the centerpiece, just like Leonardo's a centerpiece, with like the detail being on Raph here on his shell. So we're gonna play up. I'm assuming on Rocksteady's horn. I'm gonna kind of do a little heavier black as well there too. But yeah, I think it flows. What I've said before too is not. I hope people buy both sides of the print, obviously, but I do want it so that those people that don't have the money but they want to buy something, because there are people that love the villains of Ninja Turtles, right? And then there's the Ninja Turtles or the Ninja Turtles, but I don't want one side being heavier than the other one in terms of content and quality. So I'm trying to be pretty or very precious about that. I don't want people feeling like they love Shredder and like Bebop, but like the turtle side looks way better, and I don't want that. I don't think I can prevent that. Like some people are gonna like what they like, but if I can do my best to sort of keep it on point, then we're good. Speaking of these guys, let's get these guys out of the way. This is like almost half the image right here, the Rocksteady here. V saying Star Wars lacks depth. It's good for what it is. The hero story is kind of a spiel, but the amount of effort put into the movie universe is kind of empty. I don't know about all the books and all that. Uh, I'll say yeah, I agree with you. When I watched Star Wars for the first time, it was in high school, and a guy that we used to hang out that worked at a card store, he sort of like told us about it. It obviously wasn't as big as it is now, or whatever. And when I was in high school, that was like, episode one was going to be coming out towards the end of high school. But before then, so I watched it and I thought it was a good movie. Like it wasn't anything that blew my mind. I don't think. But it was all the stuff he was telling me. He was a guy that was all into Star Wars, so he read all the books and the histories and stuff like that. And once I was starting to hear that, it was like, okay, this is. I like that. I like lore. I'm a big fan of lore. Things that have the potential to have lore, like richness. Not in everything. I don't want always to have everything be like it needs a context of stuff, but the Star Wars lore is actually I don't know. To me, it's amazing. It's up there with Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, all kinds of stuff, man. Like, but I do understand and I can respect why people that don't want all that, or why do I need all that to make it a better movie and all that stuff. I get all that too. But like I'm watching this channel. I'm sure some of you guys will hear it too. Stupendous Wave, I believe it's called. Always posting new Star Wars like theories and stuff like that. Like I'm in it. I'm in it. Let's get this stuff, man. Let's keep it going. The Empire has never been evil to me. They're just the bad guys. I'm glad they started maybe getting into visual war crimes and yeah, it's pretty lighthearted, I would say. I don't know, like trying to compare it to something else. I look at it as a lot of like metaphors, really. That's Star Wars, and even the newer one I felt like was a little bit more along the metaphor kind of line with things. You know, like it's the evil empire. Nobody wants to be ruled by an empire, right? And an emperor and all these things like that. So you can get along with it, but it's like you're saying, it's the hero's journey. It's nothing new, but it's for those of us that dig it. Obviously, I'm not going to defend it, but it's cool. I love it. But to me, it doesn't have the same weight as like a Lord of the Rings. It's similar but different. To be fair, Tolkien wrote the entire history of his world and trained. Sure, yeah. The Empire blew up a planet. Yeah, no, like that's yeah. You know, you're right. Like that, it's a bad thing to do. But so this could just be writing 101, and like some people, yeah, exactly. There you go without context. Like okay, so the princess would give you what you want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is if you think okay, so yeah, if you think about it, the first thing you see is a ship being under attack. Okay, so they're being under attack. We've seen that a bajillion times. Now the movie is dated for sure. It's an older movie, so I don't want to just let it slide with too much. But so it's under attack. Okay, so now we know theoretically one of these ships is the good guy and the bad guy, right? Because somebody's being attacked. Usually, whoever's being attacked, it's a smaller ship, so you're going to assume those are the good guys, right? You got the big bad guys coming behind them, and they're attacking and all that, the bad news stuff. So they're doing their thing. They come on in this big black, like cigar sounding throat muffled man comes out. He's taller than everybody. He looks spooky as F, and it's like, okay, so clearly this is the bad guy. They just came onto a ship that's all white, right? And this guy that's all in black comes in. Very easy to tell who's the good and the bad guy. Eventually, throughout the movie, right, you find whatever. For me, what was really telling about the Empire, not necessarily what they did, like blowing up a planet to me, that it didn't. When they did it by, it was good. But out of context, if just that's all they showed was blowing up a planet, it doesn't matter because I haven't seen them do bad things. But you got to remember too, if you think about it, like Luke's family, like they're friggin' burnt skeletons, right? Like these stormtroopers, they've like killed. Now they've killed people, farmers, like they're kind of dicks or whatever, right, to their kid, but like their parents, right? So whatever. Kids like pouty about going to the Toshi station, right? Just being a chode. And then he comes back and he didn't listen to him and bang, now they're all toast, literally toast. So now it's like okay, we're setting things in motion that they actually kill people. And I think that's something that maybe got lost in the other movies. I don't know. Like when you see like the dog fighting and stuff, like yeah, okay, people blow up in that, but Luke's aunt and uncle just being like set on fire or shot to death to the point where let's put it this way, whether they were set to fire or where the guy like just shot to death, whatever, like some bad stuff went down for them to be like crawling around on fire, right? And that's what I'm saying, like that's why I'm actually really excited for Rogue One because it might go back to that. And I'm not saying Star Wars need to have dead people crawling around at all, nothing like that, but that for me was the moment where I was like, oh my god, okay, so this is serious. And then it never really got back to that. I didn't ever feel like things were in peril that bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on that one. I don't want nice rendering on this. Let's get like some big old chunky rendering or something. Just for texture. Just for texture. He's saying, I live in a very morally gray mindset, so I don't see rebels as good just because other people murder civilians. Maybe they all suck. Yeah, I think Star Wars is very black and white. That might be why I don't know if you have a problem associating with it, or maybe it's you don't enjoy it as much as other people because of that. But yeah, like if you did read some of the history and stuff, your opinion might change, but you shouldn't have to do that to enjoy a movie. It's mostly there for us that like enjoy it, right? See, with Lord of the Rings, I think it's a little bit, or stories like that, they're a little bit more well received because like it's a world that's happening. This is happening to when it's a galaxy. There's so much in there that it's like, well, how? There's no way you can care enough, right? So like anybody that's seen The Force Awakens, so when they're just blowing planets up, I didn't know what those planets were. There's not enough time to tell me what those planets are, so I don't care. Okay, you guys are just blowing planets up now, right? Like there's nobody on the planet that I care about. Oh God, now they're dead, and that's actually huge. That's a huge problem in like a lot of movies and just stories in general. Is like making it like if you're gonna blow up a planet and you want me to care, you're gonna have to give me some story with that, right? You have to give people a reason to like care that you're gonna blow up a planet. Now, if you're just showing the power that they have, which is what I think it was mostly was about, it wasn't necessarily the fear of it. It's just the power that they have is they can blow planets up, no problem. Okay, then just do that. Just have them blowing planets up. It's like Dragon Ball, right? You just blow planets up. Doesn't matter. They only put in the skeletons to get a G rating. It was an afterthought. Oh, really? Well, to me, it does stand out, as like a scene that's not really played anywhere else, which is, or maybe I'm missing something. I'm not thinking of something. Let me know if I'm missing something that was like similar to that, like getting your hand chopped off and stuff. That's like ugh, gross, but it's not burnt skeletons. Like if you're writing a scene, you guys are making comics or something, right? And your whole thing is about like the evil king and his like his the way the kingdom's run is just like garbage, right? And you're seeing guys with swords coming around and stuff like that, and they just kind of like hit each other, and the guy goes ah, and he falls over and he's dead, right? But then eventually you get to a scene where you come in and it's just like okay, so there's like three bodies on the ground and they're all missing heads. You're like okay, well wow, that's that's a lot different than what I've been shown so far. You're gonna remember that kind of stuff, you know. I was really only critical because the entire planet seems to think Star Wars is a masterpiece in all ways. I think Guardians of the Galaxy was as good as the average Star Wars film. I still haven't seen that movie, and I get a lot of flack for that too. I think I care because there was life on that planet. I do not need to know if Marty or whatever was on it. I just need to know that the names of Syrian refugees. It was just awful. And so for me, that's like I'll disagree with you on that one, but that's cool, right? Like we can have like an open conversation with it. So like Syrian refugees, that's real life, right? So when I watch a movie, there's like I don't associate with real life. Now, if the story's good, it can draw me in, and I can have real life emotions. But that's where I think a lot of times, if it's on a single world, you'll care more. Like I'm trying to think if there's a movie that I've watched other than Star Wars because I don't feel it with Star Wars. But if there's and you guys let me know if something comes up. If there's a movie you've watched that was like space where multiple like horrible things were happening that you cared about on like different worlds. Because it's to me I think it's just super hard to do. Like that's why I just keep using Lord of the Rings as a reference there, because it's like one planet or one world, and different continents on that, so you can get some range with it and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, if this doesn't happen, then like all of this is gone. That's the cost. I'm trying to think. Like there has to be something. I mean, I've read it in books and stuff like that, in novels, but not. I don't know. I don't know. This is thanks for the conversation. This is good, guys. I like it. This is that story stuff to me. Crisis on Infinite Earth. I didn't care about that. That book. I tried to read that thick book by was George Perez and stuff. I think I got maybe a third of the way through it and I had to stop. There was just so much writing. I just didn't care myself. I don't know about you guys. I know maybe that's like kind of in the same vein here. There's a lot of people they really enjoyed that. Some people say that's like the pinnacle of writing, or some people like that's what got them into comics and stuff. So it's a little bit more of a special place in their heart. But yeah, I heard so much praise for it, so I'm like, well, I'm not a big DC guy, but I want to get like some of the DC stuff, just sort of fit in and start to figure out like what am I missing out by not reading a lot of this DC stuff. So I get that. I was like, oh man, this is look at all this artwork. Yeah, it's a tome. This is great. It's like Maximum Carnage. That was fun, but it wasn't that good either. But let's do it. Let's read it. So I'm reading it. I'm flipping through. I'm like, holy, okay. Ugh, walls of text and like 50,000 people on each panel. I'm like, my my eyes are getting overloaded. I think it may have been if I read it when it was like coming out as issues, that might have been different. But as a trade paperback, like I feel like it's like reading a big novel. I'm gonna have to work on that over a period of time. Mass Effect. There we go. Mass Effect was amazing. Absolutely. Okay, so there you go. Now, I'm glad you're talking about Mass Effect here. So we can talk about the world history of Mass Effect. If you love Mass Effect, I'm assuming anyway, you've probably gone back and looked at some of the history of it and how like that stuff's really cool, right? You dig that? Doctor Who, I've tried watching. I haven't given that a proper run. I watched with the bald guy, whichever doctor that was. I didn't really care for it myself, but that's another thing that's like massive around the world, and I don't understand that one either. There's lots of things that like there's. Let's be honest, guys. There's so much out there to watch and consume that it's like if you're making comics and drawing, if you want to draw for a living, and this is just me, I don't have the time, unfortunately, to watch all this stuff that everybody says I need to watch. It's really cool and read all this stuff. So you have to be not selective. You just slowly make your way through stuff, right? And I can understand why some people they get caught up on certain ones because I've had really good reactions to a lot of good movies. The Matrix, I love that. Obviously, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica was absolutely amazing. That's something I wish people watched more of. Slayer, yeah. Honestly, I have the same problem with Lord of the Rings stuff. I find it a chore to read, and I can't bring myself to care. Sure. Do you like the movies at all? The movies are they different for you? You can relate to Syrian refugees because even though you don't know them personally, you can see their faces in the news stories, and you know what it's like to be human. That's actually a really good point. There's a reason, like in concept art, if you look at a great example, look in any video game or movie that has aliens in it. If the aliens look humanoid, meaning they're on 2 feet and they stand like a human, you'll relate more to that as like okay, there's maybe intelligence, and you'll start questioning like not humanity, but you'll start to imprint human traits to them. Whereas if you see aliens that look like insects or things that we're told to be afraid of, like spiders or centipedes or just snakes or just weird looking like fish or just crustaceans and things that look weird like that, that's usually what a lot of aliens look like because you're not meant to associate any kind of like sympathy with them. That's just concept and character design, something that you can put in top of your head to think about. Power Rangers, Power Rangers, is absolutely amazing. Hey Zelda, what you doing, Momo? I still think that Hiroshima and Nagasaki thing is a similar topic. In the middle of a brutal war, unethical to begin with, it is allowed to nuke a country to end the war that could otherwise be endless. In Star Wars, it is allowed to blow up a planet to prevent war from consuming the galaxy. Hmm. I think in this case, like you brought up a really good point. I'm thinking in this case though, I suppose it's context, right? Like we'll watch movies, and if the writing does a decent enough job, okay, you understand the world that it is, and these are the rules, right? Anybody here that's tried to write a comic book or write at all, that's pretty much what you have to do within the first, right off the get go, right? You have to start saying what the rules are of this place, what can and can't happen. That's the day in day out. And then something happens or comes along that changes these things that make it so that that possibly isn't so anymore. Things are different. You can't return back to that. And there's your story go, right? That doesn't have to be as epic as that all the time, but whatever. But in the case with like legit bombing of Japan and stuff, like that's I think that's where it just gets a little different because like that's real life stuff, and most of us are just believe what we're told, right? Nobody really questions things. The average person doesn't question things. They don't have time. As sad as that is, right? So they'll. This is getting a little deeper than it was meant to be, but so in my opinion, anyway, a lot of people they just they don't. I don't want to say critical thinking or anything because that's a little judgmental, but there's too much in life to go on, so they don't. People don't necessarily question things. Just okay, cool, whatever. So with what you're talking about, yeah, like nobody. I don't think anybody thinks that dropping a friggin' nuke on anybody is good. If anything, I think everybody tries to prevent that from happening because people got stupid and did it once, right? And it was horrible, absolutely horrible. And now we've got pictures and stories you can read of people that just got shit on for fear, out of another country's fear, right? And you're right. It's I mean this is gonna get into like some other stuff, but yeah, it's how do you tell the difference between that stuff, right? It's I don't know. Yeah, hermit crabs are real cute. I always thought that Alien from Alien franchise was cute. Well, no, like okay, so the alien, if you look at that, right, the alien is literally a guy in a suit, but he's got a penis head, right? So even though it's all like gross and it's really not that scary. It may have been scary at the time. Let's try to put ourselves back in the day when that movie came out, right? When it was legitly a horror movie for a reason, and it made a lot of money as a horror movie, right? A person in a suit and everything like that. Okay, cool. But nowadays, when you kind of look at it, it's like, oh, it's not scary. You can kind of look at it. Some people kind of get scared by it. It's creepy. Creepy is probably a better word, but it doesn't really look like an alien. Well, like maybe it does, but there's humanoid qualities to it, right? But the head alone makes it feel a little bit more like okay, whatever. This is a little bit more threatening, and obviously it's got a tail, so now it's getting into like an animal. It's getting a little more animalistic here, right? Like if you look at what people, whether you believe in aliens or not, that's a fun topic we can talk about. But like what people say they've seen as aliens, right? Like you've got your what is it, your gray aliens. If you look at them, they just look like people. So they're really not that scary. But when people start like, doing crazy zoom ins and stuff like that, and you play spooky music behind it, and they got those big black empty eyes, it's like, all right, like there's something. It feels like there's intelligence there because they've got this giant head, and we just think that anything with like a giant head has a huge brain in it, so it's super smart, right? But I was actually watching like I'm into the conspiracy stuff and just aliens and all that stuff. It's fun. Take what you will from that. And I saw this one video. It was apparently like of a real alien being filmed, which is it was a total like you could just tell it was a joke, but it did this one thing where I was like they were playing the weird music and all that stuff, and it was just like like I'm getting uneasy. I don't like I don't like this. But the alien did one thing in there, and all of a sudden it changed my opinion on it. Like on pretty much looking at like gray aliens, especially going forward, which was all of a sudden it had the big black eyes or whatever, and it blinked. It blinked, I think, from the bottom up, kind of like, or was it from the side? Something like a reptile kind of thing. And it was like, just the act of it blinking was like, okay, people blink. Deep down inside, I think that's what it was, but that blink made it feel less spooky or less scary, I guess, or less eerie might be a better word for it. And for me, I like to remember these sorts of things for like, if we're telling comics or stuff or stories and things like those are good little notes to put in there that like if something makes you feel a certain way, like try to remember or ask yourself why. So you can use that again. That's all. I know we're going way down a different thing here. Oh, no problem, V. No. Are you saying? I think no. Well, okay, so some of you guys, do you guys know like the artist, the concept artist for Alien, Geiger? Was it? It's Geiger, right? Am I saying his last name wrong? I always feel like I'm saying his last name wrong. But yeah, like a lot of that stuff, it's all well, the aliens obviously built or designed after a Schwanz, if you will. Hey, Michael. Geiger. Okay, it is. Okay, cool. Why then do I have an uncontrollable fear response to ET? That's a good question. Well, let's see if we can break it down. Break it down. So, does he look like a human? Not really. Actually, maybe this is a better question. When did you see that movie? If you saw it as a kid, maybe anything that doesn't, moves weird and makes weird sounds would scare you, and it's just in your subconscious, maybe. But I would say, like, if I looked at ET, like, even the way he sits kind of like a little teddy bear or a little rabbit. And he's got a lot of human qualities to him, right? Like fingers, feet. But there's no, like, sharp things on him to make him look scary or aggressive. When you start looking at his non-alien related, yeah, it does get real weird. Geiger. Okay, cool. I wasn't totally out to lunch with that one. Think it's a long glowing finger? Okay, that might be it. And let's be honest, right? Like some people have fears of spiders, some people don't. So what you're actually afraid of is it's not gonna be the same for everybody. It's like survival stuff, right? But no, it's just fun stuff to think about. I think when you're designing your creatures or whatever. Mass Effect's a great example. We just brought that up. Some of you might not have played it or even know what the hell it is, so you don't know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that have, think of Mass Effect. Everything about that's aliens, right? They're all alien races and stuff. But you look at them, they're all like walking around on two legs. The ones that at least come in your party. And yeah, I know a lot of that has to do with like gameplay limitations and stuff for sure. But there's things there that you can relate to because they have human-like stuff going on. Whereas when you start looking at the bad, like, well, not the Geth, but like the Reapers are a great example. You look at the Reaper, nothing about that looks human at all, and your immediate reaction is interest. What is that? And then if it does something bad, it's like, okay, that's evil, kill it. Generally, right? Yeah, I'm with you there, Michael. Hobby. I think it's because I do not trust ET. Like Predator, he's mean. He is upfront about it. ET is something he called home and got his mates to come down and kick everyone's ass. This is awesome. So ET, he's like, yeah, he hurt, I guess, humans and stuff, but he just wanted to go home like anybody else. I think that's one of the things that like, okay, so if he, it's to me it's a kid show, right? It's for younger kids, maybe not too young, but it's still addressing like things that humans want above anything else. You want your family and your home. You want shelter, companionship, like the basics of life in a lot of ways, right? Just like a lot of animals. You guys know I'm vegan stuff, and I'm not going to start preaching, but you guys, when you start looking at it, it's incredibly surprising and warms your heart in a lot of ways of like how similar a lot of the things we would consider being a human would be. That how many animals share the exact same stuff. The wanting of children, the how they act when a child's taken away, how like I saw this one video a long time ago before I was vegan or whatever, and I thought it was the coolest thing. But it was like these monkeys, but they're always hunted by like cats. I don't know what kind of cat it was. It wasn't a puma. It was like a cougar. I think it was a cougar, and they're always hunted by cougars. And like obviously that's no good. You don't want to die. So what these monkeys started doing is I don't know how long it took them to do this kind of stuff, but evolution or whatever the hell, they just they started making traps. So what they would do is when there was a cougar in the area, they would have. Let me draw this out for you. You got to see this. You guys may have seen this already, but so let's just assume this is like us looking straight on, like if I was drawing like a 2D video game. Okay, so and there'd be like a little cliff top, like around like this or something. What the monkeys would do is they would put a bunch of rocks up here, and they would keep the rocks there in case cougars came by. So if they knew there was a cougar in the area, what they would do is all the monkeys would run up here, except for I think one or possibly two. And what this brave monkey's job was to go, "Hey, follow me here," and the cougars would come after them. And because they're monkeys, they can jump, and there's little things, so they would jump, and all these guys would start throwing rocks down. Now, either that pissed the cat off, so it never came back, or it killed them. Right? Like that's a human thing, wouldn't you think? Like that's something we're told anyway. That like okay, that's what it's like to be human is camaraderie, survival, looking after your friends, willing to put yourself on the line so you can save other people. Like there's a lot going on there, right? Which is actually really interesting. So that's how do we get into that? Tangents, beautiful, beautiful tangents. The very first Reaper you see is literally a hand. The real reason ET is on planet Earth is because he escaped a predator's ship and lost him ducking into the suburbs. You really think Mama ET didn't tell Daddy ET to grab the space shotgun and get the space? Oh my god, that's hilarious. V, the similar thing I like are the birds who drop nuts in city streets to have cars break the shells, either because they can't break themselves or because maybe. Really, that's actually really interesting. That's really cool. People don't realize this because of the fact that humans, by way of a book, and pride allows us to feel superior to anything and everything. With the thought of superiority brings lack of compassion. Yeah, and I don't obviously, whenever like this sort of topic gets up, people can start to get like withdrawn, and I don't want to, do whatever. But this is to me, this is stuff I enjoy. I love talking and thinking about this stuff. This is fun. So those of you that are participating in this, I appreciate it. Let me zoom out for everybody else that's just here for the art. So we got Shredder. Shredder's looking cool. He's done. Rocksteady's coming along. It's pretty cool. I don't want to go too crazy with them, right? I want to leave a lot of areas that are a little open here so we can get some color. Color. But it's coming along, which is good. Yeah, man. Have fun. Have fun. Oh, that's good. All right. So let's add just a little thick there. Thick. Makes it look like there was some rendering there. Hey, Josh. Vancouver. Well, hello, my fellow Canadian. How are you, sir? And how is your animation going? I had to do some animation today at work for like a sample of just one of the things we were doing, and I'm just like, I was getting so frustrated. I was using Flash. I don't use it every day, so I forget anything that I was taught a lot of the times in there. So I'm just like beating my head over it, and I just want to say, from one artist to an animator, from one artist to another artistic animator. I'm glad there's people like you in the world that love doing animation. Cause I can't, it's tough, man. It is super tough. So thank you for being on the front lines of the animation war, man, and just making some sick art. And I wonder if like that the same stuff could be said for like artists, right? That are like doing like really detailed work or anything like that. Where it's just like I don't have time. No, I have not messed around with the animation features in the X. My niece, I believe she has, and I've meant to ask her to give me like a little like, okay, show me what you've learned. How about you, Josh? What do you use to animate? Last thing I remember hearing is like Toon Boom Stu. I don't even know if Toon Boom is a thing anymore. Or if that's just showing how dated I am with a lot of this stuff. I'm actually just gonna go. I'll use my. Okay, cool. So you're into 3D stuff, right on. Yeah, no, I imagine Toon Boom's still around for some people. Like I said, we use Flash. I don't know how many people use Flash anymore. We're not doing like character animation and stuff, just like simple animation. Flash, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's dying, or at least that's what I overheard them saying. Or, there's still a pretty good community that uses it. It's just more like who uses it in the industry, right? Like for video games and stuff. That's really what you gotta follow. Like this might go over some of your guys' head, but there's a piece of software called Unity. A lot of people use that for making video games and stuff. Actually, I think anybody that's looking forward to Battle Chasers, you might not care, but about this specifically, but I'm pretty sure anyway. The last I checked was Unity. They're making a Battle Chasers in Unity, which I thought was cool for me because like they'll talk about it at work and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I know what the hell you're kind of talking about. It's not all just art stuff. Jar, I found a 2-minute BBC video of the bird thing if you were interested after the stream. Thank you, sir. I'm going to watch that after. Copy and paste that. Thanks, man. Keeman, I had always wanted to be an animator, but then I just felt better off being a comic book artist. Interesting. I'm in the similar boat as you as well. I wanted to do something with art, and my local college they had an animation course. They came into the high school when everybody's like, I don't know if it's the same anymore, but we were always like, okay, well it's grade 12, and there's like such a huge pressure on you to figure out like, okay, well you're in grade 12 now, so what have you been doing this whole time? Where are you gonna go after this? What are you thinking of? And it's like, I don't know. Well, nobody's really whatever. So was like, well, I want to do something with art. It wasn't a specific thing, and that's one thing I try to share with you guys is try to get as specific as you can, so you can save a bunch of time. And your opinion, you'll change too, right? Like your outlook and your goals on things, they'll change. But if you're able to, uh, it'll do you a lot of good to spend some time and just figure out what it is that you want. And it's a big question, but if you can figure that out now, you could save yourself a lot of money and time, and get closer to what you think you want. But like I say, it could change and it probably will change. But anyway, so I said I wanted to do something with art, and that seemed legit. You know, they said Disney hired them and stuff like that, hired graduating people, which I don't even know if that's true. I'm pretty sure it was like a lie. But it sounded good, so went to that, and then like I had no idea what the hell. I know what animation is, but I didn't make my own animations besides like a flip book here and there, right? Which is really stupid. Comics are a great example too. A lot of people get into comics because they don't. It's the same kind of thing. Well, I want to draw. I'm good at drawing, but once you get in there, you get upset because the money might not be as good, and all you're doing is drawing all the time because the deadlines are crazy and you're stressed out. But if you are aware of that before you get into it, you might again save yourself a bunch of headache and heartache and just not do it. Go into something that you want to do. So that was me. That was me with animation. I learned the hard way, like I think a lot of people learn it. It's like I'm just going in it because I'm pretty like I want to do something that's related to it, but I don't know exactly just yet what I want to do in art. It wasn't even comics for me, like clearly, right? Like I still don't do comics. I love comics and I would love to be able to do comics. So we just got to keep working at it, you know? And that's why I try to say it again, even though I'm repeating myself now again, but it's taken me a while, like just really over the last 2 or 3 years to really buckle down and be like, okay, if this is what I want, like you gotta start like seriously pushing towards it here. You can't just be, pardon my French here, just fucking around. Drawing fun stuff all the time. You gotta take it serious. And I feel way more centered now too. So if you guys are struggling with you don't know what you want to do, or if you feel like you're in something just because it's related to what you think you might want, probably leave. That's just my advice. Just my advice. Grain of salt. Grain of salt. Hobby. My only goal is to make a piece of work good enough to be purchased. That's it. I would love that. It would be a massive boost. So I'll tell you right now, like that, I understand that goal. I would go even higher because let's be honest. Well, actually, okay. So are you looking to put a price tag on it and somebody buy it, or are you just saying somebody's like, I've got $20, I'll give you $20 right now for this piece of art? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you like painting and I'm like, I'm selling this for $500 to $1,000. Once I make that, that's my goal. Because the bigger picture that I'm trying to say here is like, once you sell it, what do you think you're going to do after that? What's the goal after that? Just is the act of selling, do you just need a confidence boost? Is that all that you need? Because there's other ways you could get that. This is what I'm talking about where it took me a long time to get to like me on the inside of just figuring out the artist I want to be and trying to do the stuff that way. And I'm hoping with you guys, like you guys can kind of see it as I move along, and I'm sort of documenting this as we go of like if it's possible, if I get that dream of making comics, then I want that to be inspirational. But obviously what I'm saying doesn't hold any weight unless I actually get that. So I'm hoping there's like some fun in there. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is just ask better questions, deeper questions, so that it's good that you got that short term goal because I think anybody could sell art today. Anybody, if you wanted to sell a piece of art today, you could. I'm telling you right now. You ask a couple friends, anybody got $10, $20? I'll draw you anything you want. Boom, now you're making money, right? You just need to get that once if that's what you need to make a career. That's the bigger question. That's the good stuff. That's the okay. Let's do that. That's what's going to keep you going. That's going to be like the biggest ego boost and self confidence, and like confidence is what you need. And I think that'll help. Um, Josh is saying this is the animator again. Yeah, out of my class, only 3 out of 17 people got hired, and about 75% didn't even like animation after wasting all the money. See? Okay, cool. I mean, that's not cool, but I'm just glad that what I was hearing was like sort of mirroring some of what I was my understanding. So I'm like, okay, I wasn't totally out to lunch, you know. It wasn't just me kind of stuff, right? Avi saying my goal is to make something good enough to get 5 whole favorites on DeviantArt. I reached out, I reached 4 this week, one by one until the dollars come. Yeah, but here's the thing, man. Like, watch, check this out. Like, okay, everybody that's in the chat right now, V, can you post your DeviantArt? And if you could put your DeviantArt, please, everybody, I'll do it too. Just go there and add him to your favorites, or add a piece of his stuff to his favorites. That's what I'm saying. Like, so this is social media we're talking about right now, right? Like, if that's your goal is getting 5 likes, I understand it and I respect that absolutely. But it's just blasting social media until it happens. The bigger like the bigger stuff. I'm just trying to get you guys to think a little bigger. Like, just dream a little bigger. It might not seem like it's possible now, but just please believe in yourself that you'll be where you want to be, but you don't know where you want to be yet until you start asking yourself that question. And it could be scary. It's a super scary question. What is it that I want? I don't know. Right? Just think about what it is. I posted that video with you guys last week, and I'll just do the cliff notes for you again. And some people actually sent me a private message afterward, and I was surprised. So if that was one of you, thank you. Um, So Gary Vaynerchuk, I don't know. I feel like I have to say his name wrong because he always slowly says it. But that's what he was saying. One of the things was he was in a conference, so he was telling everybody when they go back to their hotel rooms. Okay, so this applies to you guys too. Go into your bathroom, go into your bedroom right before you go to bed, whatever it is, some private place that's yours that you can reflect on yourself. And you might not know this right away. Usually you will. Usually you'll have at least an inclination. Something like that little voice in your head that's telling you this, or something along those lines, right? And it could be scary as F, but it's go to this place and just be real with yourself. And what is it you are good at? What is the one thing that makes you absolutely happy? And then just do that. And it sounds very open ended, like, well, okay, well, that, what does that even mean? Okay, so just do that. But at the same time, if you hear me out here, like let's say it's animation or it's comics. For us, for artists, I think it's a little easier than like people that they don't have. I don't want to say a talent because talent is just as it's a really weird word. I don't really subscribe to talent necessarily, right? It's just like interest and your passion to pursue it, sort of stuff. But whatever. For artists, it's like okay, you don't know what field necessarily to get in. Perhaps that's what I always hear a lot of. And things like that. So if you ask yourself, right, and maybe we'll just say comics is it. Comics, I want to be a comic book artist. That tells you so much what you need to do as opposed to just saying like I want likes, I want a bigger subscription base, a base. How do I get up to 1,000 followers on YouTube? Like none of these things like they matter, but they don't matter because once you start putting time into just like becoming that thing that deep down inside of you want to be or you think is right, like that little compass, that little voice in your head that's telling you what to do, things just become like I don't want to say easier because it's not that easy, but it's just your goals start to like they start to make more sense in a lot of ways. Like so, if you want to be a comic artist, like okay, so what's the first thing you gotta do? Well, yeah, obviously it's make comics, right? But now you know what you need to study. You need to study how to make better comics. Comics aren't just about anatomy anymore, right? Like it's story. What is a comic book, right? Like it's starting to guide you into like where you need to be spending energy and like what better questions to ask yourself and stuff. That's all. And this is just my opinion on this stuff for sure, guys. Like I'm just trying to spread some of the stuff that I've been finding lately that's been working for me. Like I said, over the last couple of years anyway, is that's when I've just started to come to realization. It's like, okay, if you guys go back to the channel or whatever, you guys can see all the comic projects that I wanted to get started, and still I haven't done Jessup King or anything, but I was coming up with like, yeah, I'm gonna do this new comic idea and this new story, and then it wouldn't pan out, and then rinse repeat. But I would always be putting up YouTube videos and stuff, and it's like that's why if you guys have noticed, like there haven't been any videos uploaded friggin' recently at all that are like sped up videos of me narrating. If I've got a chance to do it, I'll do it. But deep down inside, that's not the goal. Like the teaching or the whatever some of you guys were hoping that it would be, which is very, and I'm very grateful for everybody that's been with me this whole time, or if you're new and all that good stuff. And obviously, I'll always be grateful to you for your time. But for me, it's I want to be a comic book artist, so I need to just draw that and do illustration and art. Like I like I'm doing comic book related stuff. Yes, it's not pages; they will be coming. This is for convention, so I'm just sharing it along the way. That's sort of like the new idea of where I'm going with a lot of this stuff. Is it's all got to help each other out. It's not no longer like when I was doing the standard. If you guys remember that comic, I was missing pages and stuff because I was scattered. I was all over the place. I wasn't focused on like comics is what I want to do. I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should have been because I never asked that question. It's something I felt, like yeah, I want to be a comic book artist, but like okay, so what would a book artist do? What do I need to do to become that? What do I need to do all this stuff? That's all. So with the like, especially here with the streaming and all that, it's like trust me. Right now, I am having an absolute blast. It's just me really talking, and you guys unfortunately have to sit there and listen to it, and you guys get to type. I mean, that's how you get to participate and stuff. But this is beautiful stuff to me. I absolutely love this stuff, 100%. Because I don't have a lot of art friends around. There's artists around, but like I want to be here working, right? And I'm hoping some of you guys, or if not all of you guys are scribbling away too and stuff. But it's like I get to at least have a conversation with you guys. You guys have been following me for a while, and that to me that means a lot. That honestly does mean a lot. But if I want to get where I want to get, which is comics, you have to start cutting stuff out. And at first it's like, but I don't want to, like, because I get to do all these little, like, fun little side projects and stuff. And it's like, I get that. But at the same time, like, too bad. Some people, they want to be all over the place and do a bunch of things. And if that's you, then be just that and you'll be fine. You'll figure a way to make that work. But that's not what I want, right? So it's like, okay, well, what can I do though? Because I enjoy it still. I just don't want to be like a YouTube content creator. That's not what I want to do. Because if I did, then I would have like flashy intros. Start worrying about what was another thing the Gary V guy said. And I know not everybody agrees with what he says and all that, but for me, I still get a lot of stuff out of it. I'm gonna scroll up and catch up with what you guys are saying in a second. But he had this, I guess it was like a wine company or something, and he was doing YouTube videos and whatever his origin story is that he always talks about. But he was saying in this other little like keynote he was talking about, he was like a lot of people that make stuff or want to make stuff, they get caught up in like the worst stuff. What they get busy and caught up about, and this might ring true to some of you guys, and I hope you guys kind of hear me out with this one, is it's not the content anymore you're worried about. You're worrying about the lights and the audio. You're worried about the presentation. You're not worrying about the content anymore. And that's and what he was saying with a lot of that was a big no-no to him. And when I started thinking about that, I'm like, you know what? To me anyway, that was for me it was true. I'm not saying other people don't do that or shouldn't do it, but for me it was true. Spending time editing and making things look good, like obviously it's going to look things will be better. You'll get more hits, you'll get more likes and stuff theoretically, right? Because it's got better equipment. It's always about equipment. We need Cintiqs. We need all these things, right? And that's not necessarily true. If you can just figure out what it is that makes you you, and just be that, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Everybody's got a unique story of something to tell, right? I don't know why you guys are here. I don't know, like, I have an idea of why some of you are here, but I don't know why you guys are here for the most part, right? It could just be just to hear me talk or to tell me I'm an idiot or to, I want to hear this stupid guy's rambling all this time or some, like it could be anything. Positive, negative, right? But that's just my thing. You guys all have your own stuff. And for everybody that's feeling a little like maybe left behind or how do I get more of this or that or and I'm not trying to hammer out on the people that were saying and please I hope you do get all your likes and your favorites and all that stuff. Those will come for sure. But don't focus on that. You don't worry about it. It'll come. And the reason it's not coming fast enough, in my opinion, is because you're not being you. You're being what you think you need to be, and that's actually a huge difference. So when I've just started to concede into that, going like, hey, comics feels right. It feels good. Everything about it I like. It's like, okay, so just pour it in, man. Just make it. Just make it. And I've noticed that I've been staying up later, getting. This might be bad for like my day job, but like I'm not burnt out. But I've been getting less sleep because I'll stay up longer to, finish product a little bit more and stuff. I don't know. It's just I mean, we really went on a tangent there, eh? I'm just gonna shut up now, and I'm just gonna catch up with what you guys are saying here. I'm interested in what you guys were thinking with some of this stuff here. Let me save that up here. Okay. Oh man, I really was rambling, eh? Oh my god. I'm so I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. I think I caught up there. Hello everybody else here that's new. Edward, how you doing, bud? Hobby is saying, I'm just, so this is going back a bit here. I know what I want, capitals. I want a cult following. I want to go to a convention and people be like, your work's cool, mate. Good job, here's some money. Oh, gee, thanks, guy. You are cool too. I would still aim higher. That's not what you want. I'm assuming that is deep down inside not what you want. If it's just to be famous, uh, this could just be a difference in opinion on like outlooks on life and stuff. But if for me, if the goal is just to be famous and to make money, and I don't know what it is that you do. If you do comic book art or what, but if it's comics, get out now. Don't kill yourself to that. If you just want to be famous and make lots of money and go to conventions and stuff, just do prints of hot chicks in no clothing. They're everywhere. You'll make a lot of money, and you're gonna get those. In marketing terms, they're called whales, which are people that spend a lot of money on your stuff. All you need to do is get a couple whales, and they will keep you fed for a very long time. And I say this because comics, anybody that knows, it's insane how much work it takes. I don't want to say the pay is crap because it's not. You just have to change the way you live, right? It's a lot of work. That's all it is. For the amount of time you put into it to what you get out of it, you've got to be in it for something else. That's all. And you hear lots of people talk about it. And then again, that's not to say there's no money in comics at all. There's tons of money in comics. Keep dreaming bigger. Self-depreciating. Yes, absolutely. Like love first, then money. Money will always come if if you're being you and people want more of you, they'll pay for you. Just think about yourself an example. Maybe you don't spend a lot of money. Maybe you pirate a lot. Okay. Um, Maybe you're a big fan. We'll just go back of Star Wars, but you've pirated every single thing with Star Wars. You haven't actually spent a dime into it. You're still probably going around talking about Star Wars a lot, right? You're being a fanboy for it. So that's still love for them, and that might give other people that are willing to spend money to it. Now, I know piracy is not probably the best way of bringing this up, but it's that passion's still there for it, and you got to have that. 100%. Like, there's no reason why you wouldn't. If you're staying up late because you need to get like bills paid, just get a job. Get like go work somewhere because you can slack off there most times, like in like retail and stuff. You can slack off. You're still gonna get a paycheck. You can talk about whatever, and it's really not that taxing. It might be physically taxing, but you can make more money just getting a job. Like don't kid yourself. And the notoriety of like a convention and stuff, for sure. And I'm not just picking on you or anything, because there's going to be people that have that. And sometimes, what I'm saying here is just in an ear and out the other. But Okay, yeah. My actual goal is to get to the point where I can produce art quick enough to actually create the stories at a level I want. Only a couple years in, getting there daily. Okay, good stuff. Again, I don't think that's a good enough goal. I would even go even higher. So you're saying right now your goal is to get to the point where you can produce art quick and tell comic stories where you want. You could keep going higher level. To me, like that's that's a small term goal, like a short term goal. You could get that within 6 months. You could get that within a year. You're gonna continually get that. You're getting better with your art and getting faster. You're going to continually do that as long as you draw. So that could be for the next 80 years of drawing. You're going to continually get faster and you're going to tell better stories, right? So the goal here would be who like because that kind of answer there. Again, not picking up people. I'm just speaking bluntly here for the people that aren't here so they can ask this is the goal is like ask yourself what is it you want to be, like what is it you want to do, where do you want to be in life and stuff, where do you want to, what is it that you are you like when you go and you close your eyes and you think about it deep down inside, are you an illustrator? Like I can't imagine people closing their eyes going like I just want to be rich. If that's the case, then you I don't know like if you're in poverty or something like that or you just want to change your life. But if that's the case, I would say I would assume like art is a very slow burn. If you want money, you can go get money by getting a job. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's that stuff. It's the other thing, like the notoriety. Like don't get me wrong, going to a convention and people coming up to you saying like, "Hey, like you guys, let's what you guys are doing today, what you guys have always done, where you come in, you're like, hey, thanks John for this and that. Like I'd be a liar if I said that didn't feel excellent, but I don't do it for that. I think maybe the first, if you get that once, you'll understand it, and it's addictive for sure, and you'll want to get more of it. But deep down inside, it feels. I'll tell you this: it feels even better when people come up to you and they say this for stuff that you've actually done, not because you just did it to make money, but you made something and people are like they come up to it and they have a reaction to it. Once you get a couple of those, you'll, to me anyway, the idea of just like people coming up saying like, "Oh, I love your work." Hey, that's amazing. Thank you. But when you get those like occasional stories, and it's not going to happen all the time, but you'll remember the ones that do, where people come up and they're like, "Man, thank you so much." You know, like you got me to pick up a pencil again, or you made comics fun again, for whatever it is. Who knows? You don't know what you do for people, and I think that stuff sort of like resonates more and more, and it's way more impactful, at least to me. But again, you guys do what you want to do. I just want to make sure I'm just putting questions in your head. Hopefully, maybe you guys haven't thought of the question before, and if it can help give you a little bit more direction, even if you are pretty focused right now. If maybe you haven't asked that question, you ask it to yourself now and you answer it. It just laser pinpoints a little bit more. Then hopefully that helps you out. Uh, we all miss people. Yeah, yeah. Mike, cool. Art club. Yeah, we should start one. Yeah. Miss anniversary or university anniversary. You hear from my Canadian accent? Thanks, Josh. I appreciate that, man. It's very sweet of you to say. Naked hot chicks, but by the end of the, but then you'll feel dirty at the end of the day. Maybe, right? Maybe. Some people are into it. You never, you never know. Hobby saying cult following is a couple of people who like and buy my stuff so I can keep doing what I want. Besides, I can't draw tits. All right. So no matter what, guys, I'll promise you this, okay? And I've been on YouTube for 7 years now, and I only have what 13. We're almost close to 14,000 subs, which is insane. And I'm not saying only because that's like something to scoff at, and but like most channels that are around for that long, like here, I'm not gonna call names or do anything like that because everybody's doing their thing. But there's tons of other art channels on YouTube that have been here less than I have, that have better production values than I do, that have a frick ton more subscribers, right? So you just gotta know what you're doing. Like if you're in it for the subscribers, I'm telling you, it's very. I don't want to say it's easy. It's not. But you can put a lot of bells and whistles and just stock social media and get buzzwords and make content for that stuff, and you'll get a lot of subscribers. You'll get that. But no matter what you do, if you're honest with yourself, there will definitely be people that will find you organically, and plus you kind of put your word there. You're going to get people that will dig your stuff, and you'll get a cult following, 100%, 100%. So just know that doing you first, like taking care of inside of yourself, of like what who you think you are as an artist first. That to me, it's like that's what we need more of, man. We just need people to be real. That's all. Like if you like, I've heard a lot of people talking about like Marvel DC style, but like not as much as like we used to hear it. Like I used to hear it all the time. I have to redraw my style. I draw anime and stuff or manga, and I love manga, but I'm not Japanese, and I can't, I can't like. I'm sure there's still something to that, but for the most part, it's like, yeah, there's all these boundaries and stuff you're putting on it, but like with the internet and stuff, like really, you don't need companies anymore. It's don't get me wrong, it'd be cool to do them. Like I would love to work for Marvel DC at least once in my life, for sure. Why not? Why not? Right? But there's so many other opportunities out there that it's like if you don't work for them, you don't have to sweat it as much. Like yeah, it'd be cool if, but if you don't, guess what? You can still have your make a living off of it, and that should be like exciting as hell. I don't know if we all have to be businessmen and businesswomen to do that. I really don't know. I'm not there yet, but just having that possibility open that's pretty huge. It's pretty huge. Um, Josh is saying, look at it this way: start my day at 9 a.m. and head home around 12 a.m. Crunch time. Now that's spoken like a true animator. Holy hell! I remember the days of staying after like college. We'd stay overnight, and it was just like, oh, those are some really good times. But like, I got burnt out pretty quick. But those were real cool. V saying, let's be real, Jar. We're distinguishing between small-term goals and long-term goals. Long-term, my aspirations are unspeakable. Okay. I'm thinking day by day. If I fulfill a day by day goal, I will achieve my long. Okay, cool. No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. As long as you guys ask yourself and figure out what it is that long term goal is, at least you're not just throwing like darts at the blackboard. Like I was saying, I was just making stuff to make stuff, and whatever happened happened. But I want to do comics, right? It's like, well, then you're not. Your trajectory is all over the place. You're getting people to follow your stuff maybe because you're drawing things, right? That's not your goal. So by knowing what that is, your day by day, like you're saying there, V, 100% right on the ball there, is like if comics is what you want to do, and I'm just using that as an example, your day by day goals or your step by step, baby step, one at a time goal stuff is towards that. You're much more on track, and you can adjust as you go. Anyway, awesome, good stuff, guys. Just be a drug dealer. That's actually probably the fastest way to move some money around. Okay, well, anyway, tonight was absolutely awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. We'll zoom out, see what we did here. I had a blast. Honestly, this is really awesome, guys. Thank you so much. This was really cool. I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate you guys listening to me talk, ramble. Especially that last one, man. I scrolled up and I'm like, holy hell! Look at all of the replies here, and I'm still talking. So anyway, thank you guys. I gotta finish this before I go to bed. So I don't know when I'll be going to bed, but we might be streaming tomorrow. Actually, I don't know. Over the next little bit, we're going to be getting into the colors, and I don't know if I'm going to be streaming coloring because my home setup for coloring isn't the best yet, and I still got to figure something out. I'm not sure, but we'll see how it goes. And I'll try to make a little bit more of a notice for you guys to let you guys know when the streams are happening and all that stuff. But I just also released a Mega Man Inc. video from YouTube. It's like an hour or 2 hours long or something like that. You guys can watch that whenever you like. I just put that up right before hitting stream here, and I think we've got two other videos in the queue on YouTube. And if you came in towards the end here too, this will be put up later as well. So thank you guys so much. We'll be getting into the comic book work next month is the goal anyway, and all that stuff. And like I said at the beginning, if you guys are interested, on Patreon, if you're a patron right now, thank you, obviously. But I'm going to be posting my brushes that everybody keeps talking about. So those will be available to you guys first. Friday or Thursday of this week. They'll be up there for you guys. And then I'll release them to everybody else on like a week or 2 weeks after that. But you got to be a Patreon to get them. That's gonna go. I'll have a video showing you guys that stuff. Don't worry about it. I think it's probably gonna be around like the dollar pledge amount, something like that. So if you're not familiar with Patreon, it's basically you go in there, you pay, and you get content, or it's just your way of saying thanks. You can do whatever you want. And every month, it's just like a subscription. So if you pledge $1 every month, it'll renew $1, and you cancel anytime. No harm, no foul. Good stuff. So anyway, thank you guys. Enjoy your night. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Thank you once again. If I say thank you anymore, it's gonna make me get sick. But thanks, thanks again for keeping me company tonight, you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. Keep reading comics. Keep making comics. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye. And Jessup saying bye bye too. What? Okay. Bye guys.